The cursed painting. Jenna had always been fascinated with old paintings. There was something about them that drew her in and captured her imagination. So, when she heard about an antique shop that was selling an old painting, she knew she had to go and see it for herself. The shop was tucked away in a quiet corner of the city, and when Jenna arrived, she was surprised to see that it was small and dimly lit. She walked inside and saw the painting hanging on the wall. It was an oil painting of a woman in a red dress, her hair piled high on top of her head, and her eyes seemed to follow Jenna around the room. Jenna was instantly captivated by the painting. She couldn't take her eyes off it, and she knew she had to have it. The shop owner told her that the painting was over 100 years old and that it had a mysterious history. Apparently, it had been owned by several people over the years, but no one knew where it had originally come from. Jenna didn't care about the painting's history. All she knew was that she had to have it. She paid the shop owner and took the painting home with her. As soon as she hung it on the wall, strange things started to happen. At first, it was just little things. Jenna would hear footsteps in the hallway when no one else was home. Doors would open and close on their own, and sometimes she felt like she was being watched. But then things started to get more serious. Jenna began to have nightmares about the woman in the painting. In her dreams, the woman would come to life and stare at her with cold, unblinking eyes. Jenna would wake up in a cold sweat, her heart racing. She tried to ignore it, but the nightmares became more frequent and more vivid. And then, one night, Jenna woke up to find the woman from the painting standing at the foot of her bed. The woman was just as she had appeared in the painting, with her red dress and her hair piled high on her head. She didn't say anything, but she just stared at Jenna with a cold, empty gaze. Jenna tried to scream, but her voice caught in her throat. She tried to run, but she couldn't move. And then, the woman disappeared, and Jenna was left alone in her dark, silent room. The next day, Jenna went to the library to research the painting's history. She found a newspaper article from the early 1900s that talked about a wealthy family who had owned the painting. According to the article, the family had been cursed, and the painting was said to be the source of their misfortune. Jenna was horrified. She had never believed in curses or haunted objects before, but now she didn't know what to think. She knew she had to get rid of the painting, but she didn't know how. That night, Jenna had another nightmare. This time, the woman from the painting was holding a knife, and she was coming closer and closer to Jenna. Jenna woke up screaming and knew that she couldn't live with the painting any longer. The next day, Jenna went back to the antique shop and begged the owner to take the painting back, but he refused, saying that he had already sold it to her and he couldn't take it back. Jenna was desperate and she didn't know what to do. She felt like she was trapped, and the painting was slowly driving her insane. And then, she had an idea. She would sell the painting to someone else. She would get rid of it and never have to think about it again. She posted an ad online and waited for someone to respond. A few days later, Jenna received a response from someone who was interested in buying the painting. The person was willing to pay a large sum of money, and Jenna eagerly agreed to sell it to them. But as she was packing up the painting to send to the buyer, Jenna noticed something strange. The woman in the painting seemed to be moving. At first, it was just a slight shift, but then her eyes seemed to flicker, and her mouth turned up in a sinister smile. Jenna tried to tell herself that she was just imagining things, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. She decided to keep the painting for a little longer, just to make sure that everything was okay. That night, Jenna had another nightmare. This time, the woman in the painting was speaking to her. She told Jenna that she was cursed and that the curse would follow her no matter where she went. The woman in the painting said that she would always be with Jenna, haunting her until the end of her days. Jenna woke up in a cold sweat, and she knew that she had to get rid of the painting once and for all. She drove out to the woods, found a clearing, and set the painting on fire. She watched as the flames consumed the canvas, and she felt a sense of relief wash over her. But as she turned to leave, Jenna heard a voice behind her. It was the woman from the painting, and she was laughing. Jenna turned around, but there was no one there. She knew then that the curse had not been lifted, and that the woman in the painting was still with her, haunting her every step. Jenna tried to live her life as best she could, but the curse followed her wherever she went. She moved from place to place, but the woman in the painting was always there, watching her, waiting for her. And then one day, Jenna realized something. The woman in the painting wasn't haunting her. She was protecting her. Jenna realized that the woman in the painting had been cursed too, and that she had been trying to warn Jenna about the danger that was following her. The woman in the painting had been trying to protect her all along, and Jenna had burned her only chance for salvation. Jenna was left alone with her thoughts, haunted by the knowledge that she had destroyed the only chance for freedom from the curse. And as she looked around her, she realized that the woman in the painting was no longer with her. She was alone, cursed to wander the earth forever, haunted by the curse that she had brought upon herself. The Cursed Painting. Subscribe and like it, as it is very important for the development of the channel. And also write in the comments on what topic you want to hear a scary story.